When I went into high school, I was a very skinny kid. I was a very insecure kid. I was addicted to things like pornography and video games. I had a lot of internal self-image issues, a lot of frustration. But this story is around more specific events in my senior year and how it had a great impact on my psyche in a negative way and ruined my senior year of high school, and was also a reflection of my entire high school experience in general, because it was a product of my lack of a strong self-image, my extreme insecurity. So I got into the gym probably around junior year of high school, started working out, and put on a decent amount of weight. I maybe went in around 100 pounds or so, maybe a little more than 100 pounds. Went up to the 130s. I got all the way up to 145. Just eating. I didn't know that much about fitness in terms of counting calories and whatnot, but I was eating a lot, trying to drink a lot of protein shakes, whatnot. Built a physique that, while I was still a really skinny guy, it was not a great physique, was a lot different than how I was before. You know, I definitely became a new version of myself, a better version of myself, and the physique gave me surface level of confidence that I didn't have before. Because before, when I would get bullied for being skinny, it just hurt, and I would just think, oh well, guys who work out are just douchebags, and they're actually insecure, and they're conceited, and girls who only care about guys' muscles, they're hoes. Like, I don't need any of that. Just a lot of egotistical code. The summer between junior and senior year of high school, I got very into basketball. Not just watching the games, but studying the sport itself, like the mechanics of shooting, of dribbling, the mindset, and all these things around basketball I became obsessed with. So for that entire summer, I would still go to the YMCA and work out, but my workout portion would get a little shorter. I'd rush through it because afterwards I wanted to go and practice basketball and play pickup with. There's a lot of kids at the YMCA, but also some 30-something-year-old guys that it's like, bro, it's 2 p.m. Do you not have a job? Why are you hooping with little kids at the YMCA? But anyways, I would do that, and I would watch videos of Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, some of the best three-point shooters, shooting in slow motion and break down their exact release with their legs, how it all synchronized. And I was dead set on playing basketball my senior year of high school. And why that is such a big deal for me is because, sure, I played sports in junior high, but that shit doesn't matter. And then freshman year of high school, I went in, after playing nothing but video games all year, I went in to athletics, and the first day, and this is to kind of the weed kids out somewhat, but also, like, this is what off season is, because during football season, it's a lot of running and plyometrics and torture until we get close to basketball season. So we're freshmen in high school, and I had another friend who was also kind of super skinny, nerdy, gamery kid, just like me. And the first thing we had to do was run a mile. And if we didn't get it in time, which none of us did, you had to run another lap. And then we had to go on the football field and do lunges across and back, frog hops down and back, which was the worst one. That frog hops is when kids started crying, and all kinds of other plyometric exercises down and back. We stuck through it, actually. I remember walking throughout high school. It's weird. You feel accomplished, even though it's torture in the moment, walking around high school, because we would do that in the morning for the rest of the day. And my legs and my glutes and my lower back is so sore, but there was this weird kind of satisfaction with it. And then it got closer to basketball season, and they started putting people like the varsity, the junior varsity, and then just kind of the bums that the coaches were like, no, you're not playing. Fair enough, by the way. I was shit. I didn't practice. I didn't care at my freshman year. But as soon as I realized I wasn't going to play, and my friend did as well, we both went to the counselor, switched our schedules, and got out of athletics. So for the rest of that year, I wasn't in athletics. And then for my sophomore and junior year of high school, I didn't play any sports. And then I got into weightlifting, of course. which was great for me, but no sports. And then I wanted to go into senior year. I had this sense of, I want to redeem myself because it's such a small school that it's basically sports is the only cool thing going on. All the band kids are super fucking weird. Being in band is not cool. The only other extracurricular activities is like agriculture, which is you can get a cow or a sheep and do that stuff. The only cool thing was sports. And I was dead set. And I'm not going to lie to you, the amount of skill I built in terms of learning how to shoot, especially 3-pointers, but learning how to shoot the basketball, dribble, shoot off balance, all these things at the YMCA, and watching all these countless YouTube slow motion videos of basketball players, it was a pretty dramatic transformation. And then senior year starts and you pick your schedule, and I picked athletics because I wanted to play basketball. And this was the first extremely humiliating experience. So there's this thing where the first day of school, all athletic, in every grade, the entire school, all athletic kids, boys and girls, meet in the auditorium. And we go and we meet, and one of the coaches recognized me. This is the coach that recognized me from freshman year. He looked directly at me in an auditorium full of probably 100 plus kids in athletics, looked directly at me because a lot of the coaches were assholes at times. But I get it as well because I'm a kid that didn't play sports throughout all these years, going in like, oh, I'm going to play sports now. They do not like that. It's like, no, you play sports from freshman to senior year, or we're not going to let you play the sport. Fuck you, you're bad type of situation. And they were like, what are you doing in here? And everyone like turns to me and I'm like, oh, I'm kind of like laughing because it's such a preposterous situation. Like I would tend to make humor because to hide insecurity. It's like, oh, I want to play basketball. And he looked at me, like the basketball coach, and he said, Kenny, you are not playing basketball. And then the other coach, which was like the head of athletics, literally looked at me and said, get out. And I was like kind of laughing, like I thought this was so preposterous. But I was like, oh, wow, they're serious. So I get up and I walk out and I go back into the hallways, which all the other kids that weren't in there for the athletic meeting, so a lot of my friends that don't do sports were out there. And I was so frustrated. I wanted to cry. I didn't cry, but I was so pissed, like furious, shaking, heart racing. But I didn't give up, which looking back shocks me that I didn't. But it means that I truly raised my self-image and believed in my ability to play basketball because I put in so much work over the summer. So it did raise my self-image to an extent, even if it was just a little bit in regards to one specific thing being basketball. So I go to the hallway next to the auditorium and wait. And as soon as the meeting's out and the coaches walk through, I go up to the basketball coach and I go, we'll say, Coach T, hey, Coach T, can I talk to you for a few minutes? And he's a normal, nice guy. And he was like, sure, what's up? I said, look, I understand, like, because seniors automatically get put on varsity, so they may think, oh, he just wants to come and do varsity and fuck around and get to play varsity basketball with no skills and no trying. And I was like, look, I understand, but I've been lifting weights, I've been bulking up, I put on a lot, and I've been practicing basketball all summer. I'm just asking that you give me a shot. And he said, you can be in athletics, but I cannot promise you that I will put you on varsity. And I cannot promise you that I will let you play basketball. And I was like, okay. So I stayed in athletics and the off season started. And it was somewhat torturous at first because while I was lifting weights a little bit before this point, I was not doing much cardio. So we started doing the miles, the plyometrics, but it was a little different, because I've been somewhat into fitness. I adapted to things a lot faster. Pretty soon I was one of the fastest. I wasn't the fastest. There was like the star varsity player that I would always like trail behind when we're running or in plyometrics, but I was always second best in all of these off-season activities we would do. And I just really wanted to prove myself. And the coach took notice, from like the skinny, completely unathletic kid from freshman year, all of a sudden he's like the second best at all the off-season activities, all the mile run and the plyometrics and all these things and the agility work and things like that. And then we do our first day. I remember this so vividly. Our first day of finally practicing basketball. So we're all in there, all the guys, and we're running very basic drills, and it's like a defensive drill. So there's kids on defense that have to learn how to shift to their man to defend, and the offense is essentially passing the ball around. And I remember we started passing it around. I got the ball once, and the drill restarted, and I looked at coach, the main coach, and I said, "Can we shoot it?" He's like, "If you have a shot, shoot it." So we run the drill again, complete flow state. I don't think of a single thing. The ball gets past me. The defense is shifting up on me, and I pull up and I shoot a 3-pointer, and dude, it just whoosh, straight through. And I cannot forget looking around, and everyone was like, "Oh," like even the assistant coach was like, "Whoa," because no one expected it out of me. The next day, or pretty shortly after that day, we got done with our running and plyometrics, and he called me up and a handful of other guys, kind of like the main varsity players, kind of the star, the ones who are obviously gonna be playing basketball. And I was like, "Oh shit." And he said, "All right, guys, do you all want to play fall ball?" Which is kind of like the pre-basketball season. You do it outside of school. You just pull up to a school and play like kind of, it's basketball games, but it doesn't mean anything. And there was 6 or 7 of us, and I thought, holy shit, this is it. I'm going to be playing basketball. Like he's sending me to fall ball because he wants me to prepare for the basketball season. This is amazing. And it was also the beginning of the end for me. I got my basketball shoes. I get dressed up. We actually had to drive there ourselves. It was out of town, like 20 minutes away at this school that hosted the fall ball tournaments. And we go. And the thing was that our entire team, all of the basketball kids, because all the big guys were playing football, were super small, a lot of shorter kids and a lot of skinny kids. So even though I was also super skinny and I actually lost a lot of my gains, I went from 145 to like 130, might have been in the 120s actually, if I remember correctly, after all the running and stuff and not eating, not lifting weights as much, just practicing basketball. And I had to play the 5. So in basketball, like the 5 is like you're under the basket, kind of, I'm pushing on the big guys. And sure, I'm 5'11", 130 pounds. And they're like, "Kenny, you have to play the 5. We have no one else like tall enough, except one other guy, but we have to switch out." And I was like, okay. And also, this is a completely different thing, I realized going in, than playing at the Y, because there's a crowd. And as a socially anxious, insecure kid, that was a very big deal. So we play game. It's the first game of fall ball. I drive there. I'm excited. I remember joking to my friend, like, "Oh, dude, I'm gonna drop 20 for you," something like that. And I get put at the 5, and I don't know what to do. I don't know post moves. These kids are bigger than me. I don't know how to play the 5. I don't know how to rotate as the 5. I knew how to play like the 1, 2, and 3, drive in, pull out, shoot 3-pointers, things like that. And that's what I practiced and studied and mastered over the summer. So I'm down here. I may have attempted 2 shots the entire fall ball season. Even after that first game, I remember driving home so frustrated, like most likely tears in my eyes driving home, frustrated, because I just got so hyped, amped myself up to get there, and it was nothing I expected it to be. I thought I was just going to be balling out, scoring like I do at the Y with other people that are pretty decent at the game. And that was kind of the beginning of the end, because every time after that, like all the other fall ball games we played, I had to play the 5. Didn't know what the fuck I was doing. No one taught me anything. And who knows, maybe some of the players were actually telling the coach about that, like, "Oh, Kenny's not actually good," or whatever. But that ends, and I still have some hope. Like, that was it was a big hit to my confidence and my self-image, but I still had hope for the actual basketball season. So the actual basketball season starts. Or I guess it's not the actual basketball season, but it's kind of the preseason tournaments, things like that, where you go and you play multiple games in a day over the course of a weekend. But there's a lot more teams. It's the teams you're going to be playing in the actual season. And I remember we were able to have A and B teams. So obviously because I improved myself, coach puts me on the shittier team. And we're playing. And because the crowd was there, and because I already had this bad experience with fall ball, it was as if you've taken all the skills and practice from the summer and all the training leading up to this. And because I could not enter flow state, I was so anxious and insecure, it was all thrown out the window. I remember I had one fast break and I couldn't even maintain my balance sprinting down the court to get a layup. I ran into one of the defenders and caught a charge. And I remember one of my first 3-pointers, it was from the corner. I shot it, and just from the anxiety, I would shoot every time. I shot way too hard. It went over the backboard and went boom, off the fucking backboard. And I remember it was that shot that just wrecked my confidence for the rest of the season. I would try a couple more times, and then the actual season started, and I just sat the bench. I may get put in for a few seconds if a star player needs to rest, or if we're up or down so much that coach doesn't care. He's like, okay, cool. The bums can go play for 3 minutes. Who cares? Things like that. But from that point on, I was shattered and I was humiliated, because then we started playing games at my school with my peers. My parents showed up to some of the games. My girlfriend was watching the games, and I was just this super skinny kid. I'll put a photo on the screen actually right now. Super scrawny kid, number 4, sitting the bench. And as soon as getting nervous to go play, couldn't fucking shoot, couldn't get a basket to save his life. I didn't score. I had some good passes. I'd pass it inside to someone and they may go up and score, get a foul or whatever. But when I would shoot too hard. I go to the YMCA and play. I'm pulling up from half court, sinking it. I'm playing pickup. Everything's fine. But because of the anxiety and pressure of the crowd and the blow that my self-image took, I was trash. And my dream of being a cool basketball guy my senior year of high school was destroyed, and actually ruined. It destroyed my confidence a lot. Even though I was able to put on a front, pretend like I didn't care, it took a big blow. I know it affected my psyche, because years later, I remember maybe around a year ago, 2 years ago, I started thinking about it again. And I would catch myself daydreaming about, if I could go back now with my current mindset, my current mentality, my fixed self-image, I'd no longer have anxiety, social anxiety, these insecurities. I could have done so good. I could have been a star player. I could have got all the respect from people. And I know it really affects my psyche, because even though I'm past all that, I don't think about it anymore. Besides, I wanted to tell this story for the video and just kind of get this off my chest. But I know it affected my psyche because every now and then I dream about it. I dream about being back in high school and playing basketball. And in the majority of the dreams, it's like I don't even have balance. I can't shoot. And in some dreams, I'm trying to practice, get good for basketball season. I'm not sure exactly why I still have that, because now I can recognize it doesn't matter. My shitty experiences in my childhood and teenage years is what pushed me to become who I am now and create my channel and the content I create, and create mental mastery and help all these guys change their lives, rewire their brains, change their self-image. I forgot to mention this. There was the last game of the season. We're getting blown out. We're getting shit on. So coach puts me and some of my friends that don't play as much on the court. One of my friends is hogging the ball. He's just trying to You know, it's his last chance. He's just a point guard. He's trying to hog the ball, shoot, whatever. And I get the ball in the corner because I'm playing the 3 or the 2. And he swings it to me. And it's a big crowd because it's the last game. My parents are in the stands. Other family members are in the stands. My girlfriend's in the stand. My friends are in the stand. And I shoot it. And it goes over. And it goes out of bounds. The other team gets it. And me, because I know all the eyes are on me, at least it feels like all the eyes are on me, even though most people don't give a fuck. It's so cringe, but we're running back to defense, and I go, too strong with my little stick twig arms, my little twink arms. Too strong. Trying to make light of the situation, trying to get a laugh out of people. That is that is me taking the role as the clown. Like, oh, I missed. I'm too strong. Trying to get a laugh out of people instead of just judgment, or I don't know what exactly I was fearing, but yeah, I remember doing that too strong thing, and cringe. First of all, cringe, but also just my willingness to be like, haha, I'm the butt of the joke. Let me kind of make it seem like I'm okay with that and like want it or brought it upon myself. And like I've said, I fully move on from this because it was 1 or 2 years ago. My gym, Alpha Elite Gym, got this major upgrade. Turns into this gym called Alpha Land. Has like 3 gyms, 2 basketball courts, and all these things. And I started playing basketball on the basketball courts. That'd be okay, you know. If I was practicing for a while, I'd get okay. I'd play pickup games and whatnot. So I'd go work out. Kind of like back in the day at the Y. I'd go work out for an hour and a half, and then I'd go play basketball for well over an hour, 2+ hours, burn way too many calories, kind of waste gains, kill gains. I stopped abruptly because I realized, what am I doing? I'm not trying to get into the fucking G League. I'm 5'11". I'm wasting time when I have all these goals with YouTube that I need to get to the gym earlier, work out faster, and get home and work on my dreams. This is before like I went hard on the self-improvement content, the mental mastery stuff. And so I stopped. But I realized I was doing that because the high school Kenny inside was desperate for the closure, and I got that gratification, that dopamine every time I made a goal. And I guess the message of this story would be the power of belief. The power of your self-image, and the power of negative emotions over you. I was good enough to play varsity basketball at my shitty little high school, skill-wise, from all that practice. Like physically I was able to, I guess, and like in flow state I was able to, but I wasn't because my self-image was bad. My social anxiety was crippling. My insecurity was so high, and I could not enter flow state. And I could not do well in actual games. Let that be a lesson that even if you learn I learned all these technical skills and like got good at it, because my mind was in shambles, it sabotaged every other aspect of my life. My mind sabotaged the basketball. It sabotaged probably like performing. I did well in school. I talked about it in my Gifted Kid video, but probably performing even better, studying more. My mind sabotaged interactions with others, both making friends, but also girls, interacting with girls. It sabotaged my dreams of YouTube, because YouTube was a dream. I actually started YouTube again in 2019, but wasn't that consistent. Wasn't willing to learn because of all those things wrong with my mind. And, you know, the more I talk about it, the more it makes more sense why I've decided to go the route of helping young men. And I say young men, but you know, I have one of my best students in mental mastery is Kyle, and he's 35, and he's quit porn and video games and all this cheap dopamine is completely rewired. He's in the gym, he's just rewired his brain through mental mastery. So I guess men in general achieve mental mastery, you know, a better mindset, a better self-image, a stronger identity, reprogram their subconscious to get rid of all their self-sabotage. Because dude, I was the biggest victim of all those things. I haven't done a raw video like this in a while, but I want to be more authentic in my content. And while this will probably go on my second channel, only a couple hundred people might see it at the most. this is me exercising that and being more authentic with you guys, because on the Kenny Bender channel, I'm still struggling with that, because you want engagement and the virality and average view duration to be high, but I'm also trying to figure out how to be authentic through that medium, as if I was like live streaming or recording a video like this or talking to you in real life. But if you made it this far on a pretty much unedited video of me just talking, thank you. You have an elite level attention span compared to everyone else in the world in the modern era. I could definitely make more of these if they do somewhat well. Maybe do like live streams where I talk and clip the live streams into videos, something like that. But I need to exercise authenticity more. So this is the first step of that. Thank you.